You got your toes and fingers ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. No Ja. No Aldama, who's become a player. No Zach Edey. What happened? He got concussion?
That's right, and he had a black eye. They showed him on the screen. He had a black eye.
How did that happen in practice?
I have no clue. I guess so.
I mean, that's crazy. No Brandon Clark. What happened to him? No Marcus Smart. Not much defense. They gave up 130 points. Here's the other thing. They didn't shoot really well. But they had 21 turnovers. You don't shoot well, and then you give up 21 possessions. How are you going to win a game against a good team? It's really sad about Ja. I mean, every time you think he's going to start really making his mark, like he got hurt in that game on that screen. He was playing out of his mind. This is just terrible. Oak City showed why they are the best in the West, 130-106. The Tigers could be back in the rankings today after they dominated Ole Miss, especially in the second half, 87-80. Look, they jumped out 9-2. They were up 13. They gave it back. They were only up 2 at the break. They jumped up by 9 again very quickly in the second half, and then they never gave that up. They, I think, had the biggest lead at 19. Let me double-check that. Yeah, 19. That was late in the game. But they win by 17. But again, after the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half, they never got closer, Ole Miss did, by 9. So I have a new theory for you on the University of Memphis.
Okay.
Here's that theory. They have 3 great guards. Hey, maybe a 4th great guard now in this kid Dante Harris. I think he's going to be pretty good just based on the 7 minutes I watched. He came in there and he team first, knows sort of where the offensive scheme's going to be, and it's only going to get better for him. So if you're playing a team with good guards, you're going to be every bit as good or better than every team they play, guard play. And I'm talking about into the NCAA. I'm talking about UConn. I'm talking about even Auburn guards, okay? The problem for Memphis is going to be when they play great bigs. You play Broome and Cardwell, you're in trouble. Of course, every team in the country is going to be in trouble. But to me, that's the difference. I like Ole Miss's guards, much the same way I kind of like Mississippi State's guards. But Memphis can play with those guards. It's the bigs. The Mississippi State bigs, especially with the way they passed the ball, they were too much for Memphis. Ole Miss's bigs, not so much. If Memphis, and I don't know, who, like the best big guy is the UAB kid, Lenderberg, right?
That's right.
And there's 2 of Memphis. Mm-hmm. There's only 1 of him.
That's right.
FAU, I believe, has got a 7-footer.
That's right. I think that's right.
I haven't really started doing my homework on them yet. I will
shoot a lot of threes. I'll tell you that much, Dave.
Well, now they shoot threes?
Oh, yeah. They shoot a ton. They don't make them all the time.
That guy came from Baylor, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And they don't shoot like – they're not like Dusty May was.
No. But I remember – I haven't watched him in a minute, but I remember watching him at the beginning of the season, and they were taking a lot of threes. Let's see. Yeah, they have a 7-footer on their team. He's a freshman. How about that?
Yeah. So a freshman 7-footer.
But it doesn't look like he might not start.
I'm not that worried about.
No, me neither.
No, but I think as we look forward, and we'll see how much more consistent Dane Danger and Musa Cisse will be. I mean, they look great against Ole Miss, but how much of that was the Ole Miss bigs? We'll find out as time evolves here. And they've had decent games. I mean, Danger averages double figures. I mean, it's hard for me to believe a guy that's that athletic, that active, had only 3 rebounds in that game. Now, in his defense, he picked up early fouls, so he didn't get early minutes in the first half. And believe me, the Tigers took up the slack because they out-rebounded the Rebels by 11, 45-34. That may be the best rebounding effort all year long by the Tigers. So if Memphis has a competitor with just average bigs, they're going to be favored to win the game. If you're up against great bigs, now it's really going to be a tough contest. That's sort of how I view the way it'll go the rest of the way, and that's why I think they'll be favored probably in every single one of these American Athletic Conference games. We're going to talk with our good friend Mike DeCourcy, the Hall of Famer from the Sporting News, about that in our second segment today, and of course we'll talk college football, bowl games. Do you realize, and I'm going to get to this in our medals, do you know, don't say it because I'll get to it. Do you realize the dominance the American Athletic Conference has?
I do.
In the bowl games? It's absolutely crazy. And we will talk a little bit about that. Saban for commissioner, portals and opt-outs, and the college football playoff games with our coach in Atlanta, John Thompson, to end our week. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio. You know they've changed the sale. It's the floor model sale now. Still a lot of the same stuff. All the 2020 inventory's got to go, right? So to make room, they are letting you have 50% off on every floor model available in the place, and the place looks good. That cold plunge, it's a new thing. Big on the West Coast. All these Hollywood people do it. It's how they wake up in the morning. They don't drink coffee anymore. They take an ice cold plunge and then get into a whirlpool. They got them both. You can get a cold plunge for under $5,000 right now. Hot tubs, $3,000 off. So do it both. It's incredible what's going on with the hot tubs, free steps, and chemicals. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road and go see our good friends at Family Leisure. On Mondays, and I got a lot of them. Well, really, I got a lot of silver medals and I got a lot of rusts. But I will start on the positive side. My bronze goes to those American Athletic Conference football teams. In their bowl games, they are a staggering, and by percentage, they will be the best because they only got one game left. They are 6-1. This past weekend, East Carolina beat an ACC team in North Carolina State. There was a big brawl afterwards, and the North Carolina State coach basically said, I'm ashamed of my guys. I'm embarrassed for us. Apparently, I must say ECU started it on one of the last plays of the game, which I think was a kneel down. I can't remember which guy, maybe a tight end, something like that, grabbed a defensive lineman's towel that was attached to his belt. He took umbrage to that, and he just started going berserko. And then there was a brawl, and 8 guys were ejected, and it had nothing to do with the Pirates beating the Wolfpack. But it was an ugly look for college football. And I according to the NC State coach, a really embarrassing look for them. But they were winners. Navy beat Oklahoma. Did
what
you
a
see
wild
that?
game.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Oklahoma was down, had a 14-0 lead in the game, and then Navy just dominated the whole second half until the final possession. And then Oklahoma, to their credit, went down the field like the Navy defense was Swiss cheese, like they actually did earlier in the game, and they scored what could have been the tying touchdown. So it's 21-20, and Oklahoma, Venables, decides to go, we're going to win it right here. And I don't blame him. Why not? They've just gone down. They couldn't stop them. They had all the momentum. They'd figured out what they had not done correctly, and I thought they were going to win the game. And Navy makes the stop, and Navy wins the game 21-20. So 6-1, and to make matters even prettier, 3-1 against Power 4 teams. There's only one game left. It skips my memory as to what that is, but it's a winnable game for the American. Can you imagine if they go 7-1?
North Texas and Texas State.
Oh yeah,
in the
but
first
Texas State is favored in that game.
Yeah, by 2 touchdowns.
I know.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of weird.
yeah.
Well, the worst you can do is 6-2. That would be 75%. I don't think anybody else
Really
can beat
good.
that. So that's pretty heady stuff. All right, so I got a lot of silver medals here. They're all NFL related. First, Brock Bowers.
Oh, Dave, you beat me to it.
He passes my guy,
Yeah.
who did it as a Chicago Bear, Mike Ditka, for the most rookie tight end reception yards with 1,088. I give a silver medal, and I probably should give, these could be golds, but there's still games to be played, so they're going to up their numbers. That's why they're only getting silvers from me. Justin Herbert. Do you realize 20,619 yards in 5 years? That's what Justin Herbert is thrown for. So the Chargers quarterback passes Peyton Manning for the most passing yards in the first 5 years of a career. That's pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
Lamar Jackson. He passes Michael Vick as the number one leader in quarterback rushing yards for a career, 6,110. Just think how many more years Lamar Jackson has. I think he's only like 28.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to shatter that
Oh,
record.
yeah.
He's already got it. It's just going to grow by thousands. A silver medal to Travis Kelce. We talked about rookie quarterback numbers. How about 1,000 reception in his careers now? And he passed Tony Gonzalez with 77 touchdowns. That's the most for Kansas City tight ends in a career. And then the silver to Saquon Barkley, who became the 9th running back in NFL history to rush for over 2,000 yards in a season. So the Eagles are set where they are, right? They're going to be the number 2 seed.
Yep.
Would you? He's 105 yards away from the all-time rushing record in a single season.
Crazy.
Would you play him against his old team that let him go, the Giants?
I don't know. Oh, man.
Or would you sit him to save him for the playoffs? The single-season record is right there. Even though it's cheap because it's 17 games, not 16 like the record holder has.
So what is the difference for the record?
105 yards.
Pull what Cam Ward did in the bowl game. I mean, play a half, get your record, and then sit the rest
He's
of the
not
game.
going to get 105 yards. If he did that in the first
Airing
half,
it out. I mean, against the Giants. I mean,
I don't. Would the Eagles, would Sirianni do that?
nah, probably not.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't
if
know.
Barkley
Maybe.
goes, I want this record and I want to do it against the guys that let me go.
Dave, I think he can do it in the first half against the Giants. The way that guy's been running against his former team, I think he could do it in the first half.
All right, and then my gold goes to the Ole Miss, the University of Memphis basketball team that ripped Ole Miss, and they go 10-3 with, according to Ken Pom, the 3rd toughest schedule in America. I'm looking at this. I can't wait to talk to Mike DeCourcy. It's funny because Greg and Eli were talking about this before. Arizona is the 25th net team. They are 6-5 overall. They don't have a big win. They are, I think, against Quads. He said, I noticed they didn't have a big win. They have big losses. They lost to some good teams, but they didn't beat a good team. And I think Eli said they were 0-4 against Quad Ones. How in the world is that better? You know, Clemson and Ole Miss are slightly ahead of Memphis. I can see that because that's just head-to-head. You got to look at the schedule, but if you look at it, who did Ole Miss beat?
Yeah.
Louisville and BYU?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So, you know, North Carolina, they're 32. They're 7-5. They've lost 5 games. They have a couple of nice wins, but they've got a lot of losses. I just don't quite get all of that. We'll revisit that with Mike DeCourcy. But 10-3 for the U of M, where if they just say they go 16-2, which they should. I could see them losing on the road, North Texas or Wichita, or Texas San Antonio. I don't know about Texas San Antonio. FAU is 90 in the net today. I don't think they'll lose to those, but they could fall. They could lose in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they go 16-2, what would their seed be? Somewhere between 4 and 6, I would guess. We'll see what Mike DeCourcy has to say about all of that. But 10-3 with that non-conference schedule, That's look. They beat UConn. They beat Michigan State. They beat Clemson. They beat Virginia. They beat Ole Miss when they were ranked 16th in the country. That's pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, that is really good stuff. Dave, I will start with my bronze, and a couple bronze for me. The first one has to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl that took place on Saturday. Did you pay attention much to the Pop-Tart Bowl, Iowa State versus Miami? That was the game.
I actually listened to some of that. On my way after the Tiger game
shame
to go visit
on
my
you,
grandson
Dave.
in Nashville.
Oh, man.
But I will tell you, I actually watched the movie last night, Unfrosted.
Ooh.
Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it. Is it good?
That's Jerry Seinfeld starring,
Right.
directing, and an unbelievable cast. It's all about the Pop-Tart War, how
Wow.
it began between Kellogg
I'll have to watch
and
it.
Post.
It's good stuff. I'm going to have to watch that. But the Pop-Tart Bowl, which has quickly, this is its second year of existence, quickly turned into a fan favorite because of the Pop-Tart mascots that are running around during the game. After the game, they have this giant toaster. Well, first off, the championship trophy this year.
It's a toaster.
It's a toaster. It can toast your Pop-Tarts. But then the crescendo of the whole game is the winning team picks which Pop-Tart mascot they want toasted. It gets on top of a giant toaster. It descends down. It comes out as an edible Pop-Tart, a giant edible Pop-Tart for the winning team to win. They chose the cinnamon roll Pop-Tart.
That's what I would have gone with.
It was a great pick by them. He gets up there. He holds up a sign that says, "Follow your dreams," because, of course, Dave, we know the Pop-Tarts only want to be eaten. So one of my favorite bowl games. It was a lot of fun. I think my girlfriend's tired of it because I would just keep showing her, look at this, look at the mascot, look at what he's doing. That's hilarious. So it's great. I loved it. So I have to give the Pop-Tart Bowl a bronze medal. Dave, I'm also going to give Bronny James a bronze medal. First off, happy birthday to his father, LeBron James.
By the way, did you know LeBron's 40 today,
Yeah,
right?
how about that?
Did you know that he and Tiger Woods are born?
I did not know that.
The same day on September 30th.
I did not know that.
I did not know that until, because I knew it was LeBron's
Yeah.
birthday. I didn't realize it was Tiger Woods'
I didn't know it was Tiger Woods' birthday either, so happy birthday to two of the greatest of all time. But Bronny James, Dave, nobody's talking about him. He gets all this hate for joining the Lakers. His dad's the reason he's on the Lakers. He's not playing well. They watch one G League game. He doesn't play well. Bronny James has been playing really well in the G League over the last couple of days. He had a big game the other night against Cleveland's team in one of the first regular season games. G League's very strange, Dave. They play
play that showcase.
Yeah, they do the showcase tournament. Now the regular season just started, but he had a big game against Cleveland. Amani Bates on the other side. Amani Bates had like 30. Bronny James had like 25 or so.
There you go. There you go. Monty Bates. That's right where he belongs. He's an all-star in the G League.
He's playing well. He just come back from surgery. But Bronny James right now through 2 games, 46% from 3, averaging 19 points per game. He's playing well, Dave, and he was playing like that in the showcase tournament. Nobody giving him love. Everybody only wanted to give him hate. My silver goes to Diego Pavia. I don't know if you watched that Vandy game on Friday.
I watched some of it.
A really big win by the Doors to cap off a great season. And now we know because of this whole crazy JUCO get extra year thing.
He did it. And
he's the reason.
Are you bringing this up because you know Anthony Lamphere is going to stick around?
I did know that, and that's huge for the Tigers. Anthony Lamphere was really good this year.
That is crazy, though. Anybody
wild.
who's been
It's
a junior
insane.
college player will come and play college games as a freshman then.
Yeah, no way that holds up. That's insane. But, it's holding for right now.
I don't know. The way these federal judges have been going on this, they are all pro
That's
player,
true.
and the player has the right
That's true.
to
but
play.
Man, that is insane. But Diego Pavia, after what he did this season for Vanderbilt, coming back next year, the ruling did say that no matter if this gets overturned or what, no penalty would go to Vanderbilt or Diego Pavia if he plays next year. So he's 100% back next year, and it's going to be fun to see what Vanderbilt can do with him another year. My other silver goes to Brock Bowers. I don't even need to talk about it because you already talked about it. Just the bright spot on a really bad Raiders team. They also won again yesterday, so they're kind of rolling. And then my gold medals, I only have 2. Memphis' win over Ole Miss, you already talked about it. What a win for the Tigers to bounce back and get that big win over Ole Miss. I know Jason Munns joined us Friday afternoon on Sports Time. I loved what he had to say about last week. He said he just felt like Tigers looked exhausted out on the court. And after that, it was Clemson, and then you turn around and play Virginia, and then you turn around and play Mississippi State, because they just looked exhausted. And that when you watch them, when they have more time off, they look much better. They certainly looked much better on Saturday. And then Saturday night, Penny even talked about that. He was on the field of 68 talking about his team and the win. He even said that they were just exhausted against Mississippi State, but looked much better against Ole Miss. My second gold medal goes to Bryson Daly, the quarterback for Army, who capped off a fantastic career with a bowl win over Louisiana Tech. Within that win, I should say, Bryson Daly recorded the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in college football history, passing Keenan Reynolds, who had 31 in 2013 for Navy. Great quarterback, Keenan Reynolds.
Speaking
now
of
Bryson
which,
Daly, number one.
How about Blake Horvath? Had a 95-yard run against Oklahoma in that bowl game. That was the longest run from scrimmage in Navy history. It was his second longest because what did he do against Memphis? It was at least 85.
Yeah, he had a big one against Memphis.
Yeah.
What a year for both those programs.
Yeah, really, no doubt. Those are the good ones. All right, real quick. Russ to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
2 ways. One, he was sacked 4 times, which gives him 568 career total sacks. That's the most in the history of the NFL. But even more so, he threw a second interception. On that second interception, which was picked off by cornerback Christian Benford, when he shoved him out of bounds, he was already out of bounds.
Yeah.
He got a late hit, unsportsmanlike flag. Wow.
Crazy.
I have never seen a quarterback get an unsportsmanlike conduct late hit flag. Way to go, Aaron Rodgers. I got to give one to the New York Giants. They surprised Indy, and they went from a 98% likely chance of getting the number 1 overall pick to number 4. Who needs to win now? Crazy. And then finally, Anthony Edwards, who got fined for the 3rd time in 3 weeks. This time, $100,000 for using profanity during a media interview after the team won. I think I want to say he's got almost $200,000 in fines in 3 weeks.
He's been getting fined.
He's it's too bad because he could become the face.
Oh yeah.
If he just tried to be a nice guy.
Yeah, and most of it's his mouth. He's got to watch his mouth.
I don't like his Sprite commercials that well.
Yeah, they're not my favorite. Sprite has had better commercials, that's for sure. I only have 2 Rusts to give out. The first one is injuries with the Grizzlies last night. I mean, a great opportunity, a great matchup to see between a really good Thunder team, a really good Grizzlies team. It's just a shame. Obviously, nothing they can do about it, but injuries, especially the way this last 2 seasons have gone, it's not fun whenever you get those injury reports like we got last night. And the other one, Dave, camera deception. Did you see last night in the closing seconds of Sunday Night Football, Riley Patterson, the former Tiger, lines up a kick to win the game, and because of the angle the camera's at, it looked good. I thought it went in. I saw a video from an Atlanta bar where they were, celebrating because they thought it went in, and it's like 5 feet short. And just because of where the camera was, it looked like it had gone in. The game ended up going to overtime, and Washington ended up winning the game. So I hate that camera was where it at because Riley Patterson, a guy who now has gotten picked up by Atlanta. He's their backup kicker because their starter is out right now. It was a long kick. It was like a 57-yarder. Really good opportunity for him, and just short.
That's too bad. That really is. And those are our medals. We take a quick break. To Pittsburgh we go next. The Hall of Famer Mike DeCourcy on college basketball. He comes your way next.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56.
Shipping, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Let me guess, you're going to recommend that everyone get their holiday meal from Central Barbecue.
No, although it's a great idea, get everybody some fantastic Central Barbecue and not have to do any of the work, but that is not what this spot is about.
It's not?
No, this is about another way Central Barbecue can save you time and trouble.
Ah, Central Barbecue gift cards.
That's right. You don't have to fight the holiday gift shoppers when you can just go online and order up a handful of Central Barbecue gift cards.
No one has ever turned up their nose at getting the best barbecue in Memphis.
In the world.
In the world for free.
Hey, Mid-South, it's the season of new tradition sales event at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And Bobby J's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Save big in 2025 Kia K4 LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus spacious 8-seater SUV 2025 Telluride S. Only $368 a month, $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And don't forget about 2024 EV9 with 0% APR for 72 months. Plus, get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J and let him put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee $20,000 per year. K4 SEO 29100 MSRP 24230. Telluride SG 596,529 MSRP 41260 includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license. Must finance through KFA dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/25 with approved credit.
Exercise. The exercise coach is ready for you. Strength training only takes 20 minutes twice a week with special computerized exercise equipment designed to maximize your workouts and minimize your time. The exercise coach gives you personal workouts like one-on-one training. Check out the exercise coach at exercisecoach.com/Lakeland or exercisecoach.com/Lakeland. Injury or knowledge.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo.
All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Gaga.
Welcome back in on this terrific Monday. Happy holidays to all. Happy holidays to Mike DeCourcy, our Basketball Hall of Famer. Good morning to you. Hope you had a great Christmas. And I got to just ask you a little bit. The Tigers are 10-3. Ken Palm's got them with the third hardest schedule in America, yet they're 40th in the net. I don't quite get that. We'll discuss that in a second. But let me know what you think if Memphis, say, were to go 16-2 in the American this year, which is definitely not one of the higher-rated conferences. Most people think it's a one-bid league. Where would their seeding be? Good morning.
Good morning, Dave. I would say, let's be sure where I had them in my first bracket. I believe they were a 6, but let me double-check to make sure I have that right. Yeah, I had them as a 6, and that was prior to the win over the weekend against Ole Miss. There aren't many things that can, when you get later in the year, that can move you a lot of lines. But at this time of year, when a large number of games that are being played are bye games, games that you play at home that you're expected to win. If you beat a significant team, as the Tigers did, I would see them when I publish the second bracket for the season tomorrow. Well, I write it and Fox publishes it. I would suspect they'll be in the 4 range there, and I think the 16-2 would be somewhat dependent on who they lost to. There will be forgiveness for losing to a better team on the road, not to a poor team at home, say, just to use an example. But I think that they are playing for a top 4 seed as they go through the American. Now, this team is not like last year's team, but it faces the same challenge as last year's team faced, which is don't let off the gas. Keep getting better. That's what Gonzaga always has done brilliantly. over the entirety, basically the entirety of Mark Few's time as coach, especially since he got them established and then was able to schedule significant games in November and December. And then they would go into their conference, and they go into places like Santa Clara or San Francisco, or in particular years to Loyola Marymount. And those teams would be totally jacked about the chance to take down a big brand name and a terrific team, and the arena will be filled, and the team will be capable. This is irrespective of their games against St. Mary's. Once Randy Bennett got them established, those were always serious games because St. Mary's has almost always been among the top 40 or so programs in the country since Bennett got them established nearly 20 years ago. So those are different, but the ones that are really dangerous are the ones I described. Good teams, teams that if the fans respond to the challenge and make it a tough environment, and you have to be ready for that. And Gonzaga has handled a lot of those. They have taken very few upsets in those circumstances. They've been in some close games, mind you, but they've taken very few of the losses, and that's what these Tigers, have to avoid. And I thought they did a phenomenal job on Saturday. I mean, that was just a brilliant performance by everyone. They found the scoring that they needed, and they defended with great intensity, with the intensity that eventually Ole Miss didn't work very hard on their to get their shots. You could see that they kind of like there was a lot of settling because it was so difficult to get good quality shots at the rim.
I have to ask you about the net, okay? Because even after all these years of looking at RPIs and Ken Palm, I look at Memphis 10-3, wins over UConn, Michigan State, on the road against Clemson and Virginia. They beat Ole Miss. They have 2 losses that are acceptable. Mississippi State's was 19 in the net when they lost to him, and Auburn's number 1. The one bad one, the outlier, is Arkansas State. I look at a team like Arizona, 6-5 on the year. They just moved 1. They went from 25 to 26 today. They're 6-5. They don't have any good wins. They got several good losses to get against good teams. I believe they're 0-4 against quad ones. How in the world is that team 26?
Well, the first thing I would say to you is don't get obsessed with the number of your ranking in the net. The better it is, the less you have to explain away, so to speak. But it really isn't that important in the scheme of things. There are teams that have gotten significant seeds despite rankings that would suggest much lower seeds. And I think that the fans are always looking for an easy answer, but they don't look for the answers that people like me say, don't look at that, look at this. And so when I tell them don't look at the rankings, then they start looking at the net or Gen Palm. And if you are interested in what a team is doing per possession, those are great places to look. How efficient they are. Ken Palm's amazing. His numbers are terrific. But don't get caught up in his ranking because those can be changed. It's how well are you doing per possession, and the Tigers are not going to do as well per possession as some other teams at this time of year for the very simple reason that they're playing much harder teams on average than anybody else, except maybe the Zags. Everybody else is throwing a bunch of bye games in there. How many of the Tigers played? 3, maybe, out of 13 games?
I guess you could say the worst teams were Ohio. They were picked to win the MAC, but they're not very good.
Right.
Arkansas State picked to win the Sun Belt. They're not so bad. And then
right.
Louisiana Tech picked to win CUSA. So those are the 3 games that are the bad games.
Go through. Now, a subscription to Ken Palm costs like $20, something like that. And so you can then go through every team's schedule. Like I'm looking at the Tigers' schedule right now, and they have one team lower than 102. and that's the Ohio, the Bobcats.
Right.
They're 163. They have nobody in the 200. Like, that is really rare. So that's part of why they're not as efficient, because they're playing much more difficult games.
Right.
And so where they have to make up that ground, the efficiency ground, is by, like I said, continuing to focus on themselves and not on the score so much. Focus on themselves. Every possession matters. Every time Tyrese brings the ball down, it matters. And that's not to say that you're not going to have some bad stretches in a game, but you have to play as if every possession matters, and it does. But when you get down to it, I'll give you the number that really matters. There is a site I will give. This one doesn't cost anything. It's called WarrenNolan.com.
Warren, WarRRAEN?
Ian Nolan, WarrenNolan.com. And Warren, I don't know Warren, but he is my savior. Because since I started doing the brackets for Fox, I rely on this site more than any. Because what he does is, when you go to his rankings and and he has a bunch of different things, that you go to the net, and then you go to, in the net, there is a bunch of different things as well there. And what you want is the net nitty-gritty. That's what you're looking for. You just click through to these sites, and this doesn't, like I said, his is a totally free site. And you go down to the Tigers, and they are rated 40th in the net. But then you punch up this little piece of, it looks like a little piece of paper right next to Memphis. And that is what they call the team sheet. And it's exactly what the committee will be looking at when they sit down in March, the second week of March. They will be sitting down and they will be looking at this team sheet, and it will divide everything up according to what teams you have beaten. You under quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Right now, only quad 4 win for the Tigers is Ohio. Everything else is higher than that, and the only quad 3s are Louisiana Tech and the Arkansas State loss, and then everything else they've played is in quads 1 and 2, and that shows the strength of their performance to this point, and the challenge that they play. And then you look at, there are 6 different metrics in addition to the net that the committee will look at, and they are divided up 3 as result-based metrics and 3 as predictive metrics. And the predictive metrics are the ones that take into account margin of victory and such. The result-based metrics wants to know who'd you play, where'd you play them, how'd you do. And under the result metrics, you know who's the number 1 team in the KPI, the Kevin Palga Index? Your Tigers.
Really?
The number 6 team in wins above bubble, the Tigers. The only one that has them out of the top 2 seeds, based on that, is Strength of Record done by ESPN. They're 11th in that. And I will tell you that when I'm doing seeding, I'm not factoring out anything, but I am relying more on those than anything else. Those 3 numbers are, and why do I rely on that? Because my perception over the years has been that that's what most closely coincides with what the committee will do. And so those metrics, the most underrated metrics in college basketball, the result-based metrics, they're not the whole story, but they are the biggest part.
Real quick. Next week, I want you to explain wins above bubble. What is that like? Wins above replacement in baseball?
It kind of is.
I kind of I want to hear about all of that. Two quick things I got to get to though. Jim Larinaga stepping down, basically doesn't like the new system. A little like Tony Bennett, maybe Mike Krzyzewski. Sort of the same way. I did find it a bit ironic because if I recall, he was one of the first to use portal and NIL money to get a Final Four team a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Not everybody who's retired. I mean, Mike was 75 years old.
Yeah.
He was getting ready. He wanted to do other things with his time. But Jim made it clear that that's the problem. But the problem is that he was very much involved in that. His Final Four team in 2023 had a team member that transferred in from Kansas State, and it was very publicized by the person who the company or whatever entity that brought the player in from Kansas State, that he was coming in for two years at $800,000 total. And so it's kind of, I understand, like, if you're Jim Larinaga and you got a truckload of money, and he does, and he's working way harder than he ever wanted to, and he is, I get it. Just say that, though. You don't have to blame the game. Like, it's different now, and you made a bunch of money in the game the way it was, and you're still making a bunch of money, but you now have enough. I just find it disingenuous to say, well, the system has changed and this isn't right. And was it right when you were making $5 million or $4 million or whatever you were making, and they weren't making anything? Was that right? I can't get with that.
And when he used the system that is in place now to get to the Final Four. So
yeah,
that was a little disingenuous in my mind. Last thing, because you write college football as well, and that is not too far down the road from where you are in Happy Valley. James Franklin at Penn State said, "We need a commissioner for college football. It should be Nick Saban."
Yeah, I'm working on a column about that now. It's a really not good idea. But first of all, people always look at commissioners as these independent entities that will save sports from themselves. And it doesn't really work like that. What was Roger Goodell done for the NFL? Make him more money, I guess. But he's also given us lots of things we don't want, principally the 17th game, and now they're pushing for 18. Christmas Day game on a Wednesday that forces the Steelers and the Ravens to play 3 games in 11 days.
Right.
What is that? Commissioners are not... Here's a challenge for your listeners, Dave. I spot you David Stern. If I take David Stern off the table, name me one commissioner who's made their sport dramatically better and is widely appreciated for that. It's going to be a hard call.
I would say Pete Rozelle.
Okay, there you go. So we have to go back only to my youth, which is a long time ago, as you know, Dave.
Yeah. I do know. Not as far back as mine goes, though. We will talk bubble, wins over bubble next week and a whole lot more. As always, we love our conversations with you and wish you and Deb the happiest, healthiest new year to come. And we'll talk to you next year.
Happy New Year to you and yours, Dave. Absolutely. I look forward to it.
You got it. Thank you. That's our Hall of Famer. That is Mike DeCourcy. He's brought to you by Southern Security, your home team credit union. Need cash? Refinance your auto loan with Southern Security, and you don't have to pay for 60 days. Southern Security will finance up to 15% of the current value of your vehicle for up to 72 months. To find out how to put more cash in your pocket, call our member service team. That's simple. 901-452-7900, or you can apply right on the website at southernsecurity.org. Southern Security, a proud supporter of U of M Athletics and 901 Women. They are federally insured by NCUA, and they are your home team credit union, the best the last 6 years, Southern Security. Back in a minute, we go to Atlanta. We talk college football. Next, front and center is John Thompson.
This is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Burst pipes can be real headaches, especially with the increasing deep freezes. But don't worry, Choate's has solutions by winterizing your home's plumbing pipes. Our smart water monitor and shutoff system detects leaks and can automatically shut off your water to prevent even bigger leaks. We guarantee your outside faucet won't ever freeze with our Freeze Miser upgrade. And don't forget about heat tape we can install for drains and water pipes, keeping them from freezing down to -40 degrees. Concerned about water quality? The Halo Whole Home Water Filtration System filters out pollutants, ensuring clean showers and pure drinking water for your family. For a free estimate on safeguarding your plumbing system or filtrating your water, give Choates a call at 347-8086. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I plug mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's the Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event, and that means get ready to save big at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Save big on 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. We Gossett, $35,470 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $27,870 or $399 a month. And 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $31,550 or just $499 a month. Plus, get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event today for huge savings at 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, loyalty rebate, trade assistance, PHEV, RZO 35,297, MSRP 47,470, both 72 months at 2.9%. Cross RZO 64,906, MSRP 31,370. Outlander RZO 71,12, MSRP 36,050. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Fall is football at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Monday through Friday, it's happy hour from 3 to 6. $1 off all draft games, $5 off meal drinks, $4.50 for house wine, mozzarella sticks, queso, corn dogs, and more. Friday night lights from 7 o'clock. Dining in mozzarella Wednesday night. And free on one touch for every pro game. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland. Highway 70, Fall is football.
Let's head down to Atlanta, Georgia, where I am sure there will be a lot of memorials today to Jimmy Carter, who passed away yesterday at the age of 100. He became the longest ever living president. There were a lot of great things that he accomplished post-presidency, Habitat for Humanity being probably the biggest accomplishment. Quite the man, and quite the Georgian. He was governor there, legislator there, only president ever that was elected from the state of Georgia, and also the longest guy I seriously ever knew in hospice. It was almost 2 years that they put him in hospice, and he lasted. Pretty incredible. John Thompson joins us now. Good morning, my friend. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yes, I did have a good Christmas, and regards to Jimmy Carter and his family, and being a native Georgian right now, I guess I could say that's a little slowed down around here today. Sure.
The playoffs are coming. We got all these great games, but one of the participants, Penn State coach James Franklin, made a push yesterday or the day before. He wants a commissioner for college football, not conference commissioners, one guy to run the business. He wants it to be Nick Saban. What are your thoughts about that?
You know, that is interesting. You know, it is very interesting. But first of all, when you mentioned this to me, I got to thinking about it. You know, would Saban, and I think he would, have the passion to do it, but he would have to listen to some people. And I don't know that maybe he does. I don't know that he's ever listened to anybody, you know, and my short time with him, he really didn't listen to anybody. And he's always been more of a dictator. And I don't know what that would mean for smaller schools. Would he protect the smaller schools? Who would he listen to? Would it be Belichick, you know, the way he is? Coach Bryant is dead now. He's dead as fried chicken. So I'm not sure who Saban would really be a confidant have or be a what. That would be and I think that would be. But we got to do something, Dave. This bowl season, until we get back to the playoff games coming up in the next couple of days, it's the play in these bowl games has been so diminished. It's really been frustrating to watch it. They look like JV games.
Well,
the fundamentals, and it's really horrible. The fundamentals, the tackling, the execution has been really disgusting. If you just sit and watch it, it shouldn't be this poor. But with all the opt-outs and the portal is killing it.
It's an interesting take you had on Saban. My first of all, he's smart enough to do whatever he wants to do, and he's got the passion to do whatever he wants to do. I agree with you about that. It's not just a matter of listening either. For me, it's what would he do with the group that's not the group of four? Not the Power Four.
I know.
I think he's already said the group of four shouldn't play the group of five. He's already said that. The power guys should just be on their own. So he, in essence, would make the group of four, the four conferences that are in power, all of college football, and the others would die on the vine. So that would be my problem with him. I would love it if there was a guy that really did try and care about all of college football. And I understand leanings toward the Power Four, but you've got to let the other guys have a chance to survive. And I'm not sure that Saban would. You mentioned poor play in the bowls. Maybe that's part of the reason why. I don't know. You tell me. The American Athletic Conference football has been dominant in the bowl games. They are 6-1. They're 3-1 against the Power Four teams.
Yes, they played really, really well. But you know what? And I went back, and some of this is it's not all factual with some of the opt-outs, and it's really not as many opt-outs. It's more just portal. Some portal guys are playing. Coaches let them, but most portal guys are not playing. But and you go back and you look, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the AAC, but when you look at it, I mean, Memphis really got a good break. I mean, think about it. If Hennigan had have opted out, what would that have done to that game? Now, West Virginia had a bunch of guys out, but Memphis was the better team.
Right. Well, they had a coach out. They didn't have a coach either. I mean, let's be honest.
And their coach was out. But, hey, look, man, Memphis is 21-5 over the last 2 years. Hennigan is a big-time player. 11 wins this year. So I don't want to diminish that at all. But you look at some of the other games. Army beating Louisiana Tech. I mean, they were stuck in there. Marshall
Well, that shouldn't have happened.
Opted out of the game.
That's right. That's terrible because of the portal. Their coach left and everybody left with them.
Yes. Navy beats OU. OU doesn't have their quarterback. They lose all their wide receivers.
But Navy had their quarterback. Now give Blake Horvath some credit now.
No question. And that's exactly right. And, then you got some other games. There were 23 portal guys at Coastal Carolina, and UTSA goes into Coastal and beats them. I don't know. Then you look at the game with Texas Tech and Arkansas, the Liberty Bowl. That was an entertaining game, but there was a lot of guys that didn't play in the game at all. The game that really disappointed me more than any other game was Colorado and BYU. I hadn't got a chance to really just sit down and study Colorado. I watched them this game, and I'd coached against Travis Hunter a couple of times in high school, and he obviously a dominant player, Heisman Trophy. But there were some adjustments that Colorado simply did not make. I mean, when whoever they were playing, BYU would get in a trips or a bunch set. They had the whole thing jacked up every time. They had BYU had wide receivers running wide open, and there's simple adjustments that you can make on that. And Hunter was always right in the middle of it. I don't know that I'm not blaming him. I don't know, but Tim Lewis is their defensive coordinator, and I like Tim Lewis, but he let that get away from him, and that's why BYU stomped them.
Well, if you
But
think about it,
it was disappointing.
BYU actually was really only 2 or 3 plays all year long away from being in the college football playoff mix. They were actually a pretty good team. I know that the 2 Sanders kids and Shador may be the first quarterback taken here, Cam Ward, and obviously Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going in the first round. He's going in the first 3 or 4 picks. They were really good players, but. Obviously, I think BYU was really the better team total. All right, real quick. First game, Penn State, Boise State. Penn State now favored by 11 in this football game. I think Genty can run with these guys. I'm not saying they'll win, but that 11-point line's crazy.
That's a lot. That's a lot, but Penn State just has too much depth in the line of scrimmage. Yeah, the running back from Boise is maybe the best player in the country, definitely, or probably the best running back in the country for sure. Penn State, too much depth, and they're playing really well right now, really playing well.
Texas, Arizona State, Longhorns 13-point favorite. They haven't beaten a top 25 team yet.
They will after this one. Too much Jaden Blue. They're going to run the football. Sark will know to run the football, keep the football, frustrate them. Arizona State, the bubble gets bust. It gets busted down just a few miles down the road from me.
Ohio State has to travel to California to the Rose Bowl to take on Oregon, a team they lost to when they sort of mismanaged the game at the end. But it's the Buckeyes that are the favorites by 2.5 in this game.
I have to still stick with Oregon. I think they're going to win it all, just based on all year long and based on Dan Lanning. And I just think he's done a phenomenal job. But Ohio State is playing with such a darn chip on their shoulder right now, and that is very valuable at this time of year. They've rallied around. They've rallied around after getting beat by Michigan. I think that's going to be the best game. That's going to be a fantastic game. You got a lot of speed and athletic with Oregon, and then you got Ohio State, which is a very, very, very good football team if they can keep it all together and they're not playing Michigan.
And then the last game, Notre Dame, Georgia, at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
You never know what's going to happen.
The Bulldogs by 1.5, which means whoever wins, wins.
Yeah, it is that's definitely a toss-up. I'd say whoever gets in the most trouble in New Orleans is going to be the team that loses this game. So I think it's going to be real close. Notre Dame has got a little Ohio State in them. They're playing better and better and better, and Freeman has really, I think he's done probably as good a job as anybody in the country in coach. I mean, they come up with the loss to Northern Illinois early in the year, and now they're just playing so much better. Georgia's got a few things going on, with losing their quarterback, gets hurt, and now he's going and, he's coming out for the NFL. Got some things going on there. I think Kirby will handle that, but that's going to be a fun game to watch, a very, very fun game to watch. I won't be surprised if Notre Dame beats them.
All right, so you got Georgia, basically, is what you're saying.
I tried to get in both of that, yeah.
Happy New Year, my friend. As always, I appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week, next year.
Take care, my man.
You got
it. Stay out of trouble.
I'll try.
Okay.
I'm too old to get in trouble. That is our coach. That is John Thompson. He's brought to you by Grind City Brewing and the new Gator Patrol. Not so new. It's been around for a while now, but what a great way to bring in the new year, which is just a couple of days away. The Tangerine Cream Sour is called Gator Patrol. It's sweet, it's tart, it's refreshing, and it's got this balance to it because there is a hint of cream. It's brewed beautifully. Of course, all the products at Grind City are brewed beautifully, and the grounds are beautiful. There's concerts there. It's a great venue. It's a picnic area, great view of the city and the bridges. And then there's the modern brewery, which was the dream of a father and a son a few years ago, and now it is a great reality. It's a taste of Memphis. It's Grind City Brewing. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow on New Year's Eve morning. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.
Let me